We thank you for your patience over the break we just had, extended, albeit, but we are ready to go, or at least so we've been told. Rivals now take on Elevate in a game that is sure to, I want to say, squash expectations. Rivals coming into this very much an unknown. Elevate coming off the back of, I would say, a very strong series. I should say season. But we do have Dev joining us on the desk, and hopefully he will give us some insight. Dev, hey, what's the feeling like going into this second map?
Yeah, I think that we get finally to taste and test what Elevate are looking like this stage. Of course, they have had a bit of a crazy year, big shake-ups, looking to bring in some international talent, high expectations. They kind of look at themselves as like the runners-up to Bleed, even though Fury are one of the top teams and actually don't have any international imports. Of course, as you can see from the jersey flags shared over from the UK, these guys are gunning for that spot at the Montreal Major, and they will need it for a shoe-in at making SI, which is no doubt their priority. However, Stage 1 didn't quite go to plan for them. They had a decent run through the EWC qualifiers, but eventually fell to Fury. And of course, it's not just Fury, but also Bleed, which will be the main team standing in their way of making Montreal this time around. But there's no doubt these guys are still huge players in the region.
Xenox, we all had them firmly placed in third. What are your thoughts coming into stage 2?
Yeah, I had them firmly placed in third.
Fantastic. Let's move on to Rivals. Roster that is a bit of a makeup from, Jackie Wu. Let's just say that outright. We love Jackie Wu. It's good to see him back in the league pretty much immediately. But this roster, I believe, has come from a team that were competing under the name Devil Package at the start of this year. Now, whether or not they are going to be able to see any success in this league, it's really going to boil down to today. This is a game that it's a very difficult ask. It's a tough challenge for Rivals to kickstart their Stage 2 campaign against Elevate. Elevate 1 have something to prove, has something to go off. Rivals are coming into this with I'm just going to say a quiet qualifier. I don't think by any means there was anything spectacular in the conversation. I do believe they beat out Daystar to make it here, which I guess Dev is in it on itself. It's something worth mentioning.
Yeah, I think overall they can be reasonably happy with how they went through the qualifiers and their general recent history. As you said, they beat Daystar, which was in the league in Stage 1, and of course, the reason why Daystar are not here now is because Rivals took them down. They even took some maps off some pretty solid teams, including No Cap, and so they have experience versing teams from this league before, but this is going to be the greatest test of them all.
It certainly is. We're going to speedrun through this map, Vito, and we're headed to Clubhouse, and Rival Esports decide to start on attack. Jake, after what we've just seen, we surely will not see a ban phase without a shield on the attacking side.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. I mean, I actually kind of believe like Hollis. I mean, maybe call me a little bit guilty of being gullible, but I think that there's other tactics. It doesn't just have to be a case of, pick up the bloke with the shield and run around. I think Crit J has already shown throughout his career he's more than just that. He's a gunner as well, and has been, in some cases, regarded as one of the best players in Asia. So I think it's more than just that. But look, yeah, I think the shield play is going to be prevalent across the board in all regions, on a lot of maps and Clubhouse especially. So it's something to consider, as you said. I do wonder if we'll get some bans out. And yeah, I don't know. I think coming into a game like this, if you're Rival, it's kind of like, what are your own internal expectations? Because our expectations are irrelevant. Elevate for me are that third place team. I wasn't joking. I think that they're the third team in this region. For Rival to beat them would actually be a pretty big result. That would actually be, in my mind, a bit of an upset. So are they looking at this stage as like going all in, we want to make the major, or are they kind of looking at it as, hey, like, relatively new team, let's build, let's just kind of start slow, one game at a time mentality?
Well, I can give you a little bit of indication. I did speak to Jin So that's obviously somewhat of a leader on the team from what I've been told. It's kind of hard to know because the team's only really been formed about 6 months ago. One thing he wanted to make abundantly clear for the entire roster is that, and I'll quote this exactly, we've got some young superstars who just turned 18, so we shall see how the young blood goes, Dev. If that's anything to go by, this could be a fiery match, and I hope to God it is. Rival Esports kickstart their debut against what is considered a very serious threat for playoffs. Elevate start their opening match, and this should be a convincing one from them. We head to Clubhouse.
Very much, Rob. Yeah, Elevate really are the favoured team here. Jake knew two ways about it. But I think Rival are a shoo-in for top 4. I think top 5 is pretty achievable if Direwolves continue to have poor form. Of course, there are 2 former Direwolves players on this Rival roster with Songla and Jackie Wu. And in combination, getting some veterans like them and getting some of the new blood, I think there's a solid chance that they might be able to do a little bit of damage, but this is going to be the biggest test they've had. This is by far the best team they've ever played against. In the past, I would say No Cap's probably the top team that Rival have ever played, so this is going to be a real test for them.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think Rival's going to make top 4, top 5 at all. I think they'll probably be bottom 3. There's nothing wrong with that. That's my own assumption on them. And by the way, the Shields both banned out. Montaigne, Blitz, no surprise. Spoke about it. Rob is a clairvoyant. Doesn't really take too much of a genius, though, after what we saw in that opening game. Vigil and Two Brow to follow. But, yeah, I think the issue with me for Rival is, are we going to see similarities like, you know, Bin just then on Direwolves, return to Harambe, right? Like this new roster put together when you're going up against a Fury and a Bleed, and then even to a degree, Elevate, No Cap, 2 rosters too that have held strong stability in their rosters. You don't have that stability. And you're coming in quite new, quite fresh, quite green. And look, who knows? Maybe they can cause an upset early on and we change our thought process. They'll be attacking first half here. Perfect opportunity. House money. Attack Clubhouse for a team with little to no expectation against an Elevate roster that I put in that same package of Direwolves. Direwolves failed me. I hope Elevate don't, because I really do want to see someone else be able to challenge Bleed and Fury's superiority in this region.
Yeah, and really we look at Asia as a 3-horse race with Elevate, Fury, and Bleed, but it would be nice to see teams like No Cap start challenging that. And I do think that Rival do have a solid chance at challenging the mid-pack. Of course, the way that this league tends to always pan out, you got the SEA teams, you got the South Asian teams, and unfortunately, just the way the cookie crumbles is that the teams from South Asia tend to struggle to make it out of the bottom 2. And of course, Direwolves at the moment, I think, are really struggling to find their footing. Of course, that may change. We've only seen them play 1 game so far, and it wasn't great. I think Rival have a chance at challenging all of those 3 teams at the bottom, potentially even No Cap, having seen that they have taken maps off of No Cap in the past. But this is a huge test for them. I want to be optimistic because I want to see the league shake up. You know, once upon a time, APAC South was so tight. We were in a 7-horse race for all these major spots. And Elevate just want to prove that they can be in with a real shot at Montreal.
So no shield play. It's not quite going to be an exact replication of game 1 at the very least. So it does mean we kind of go back to basics. That's the way I imagine this is going to play out. I kind of said it on the broadcast with Guz earlier that, you know, the way that we were kind of seeing the first match get played out with Fury and Direwolves was probably not quite the norm, not quite the conventional way that you'll see Clubhouse get played out. Love the little push in here from Nyquil, and he does get a bit of space, but falls back off it. So I think this is going to be the kind of match where both teams will, well, probably play to a standard. Good opening kill, at least from Jackie Wu. The offcast from Direwolves set aside, now making a return, and he does get an opening kill. A good start for Rival. This is where Elevate have to now consider. Do they go aggressive here, go for a counter punch themselves, find a pick, then go back down to basement? Well, that is shut down in bar though from Nyquil. Jackie Wu's found 2.
Yeah, this is really nice from Jackie Wu, and overall from Rival, they've taken 2 picks from Elevate. They've won this roam game. With half the round left, they've pushed all the defenders back to side. I can see why Rival love this map so much. This is actually their favorite map in the last 3 months. They haven't banned it once. It is their most won map. They've actually on an 8-game win streak here on Clubhouse. In contrast, Elevate typically hate this map. It's their 2nd most banned map this year, and they've only won it once. So it's a new map that they're trying to introduce into their pool, and Rival is certainly going to make it hard for them to do that.
Still decent drone economy, getting in towards kitchen. More kills though. Jin, okay, that was a little bit reckless though. With the hatch opened up, he just puts himself in a bad spot. Gives a freebie over to Speakeasy. Sure, there's only 2 players left, but Shed, Speakeasy capable, but it's push. Songler, he just gets aggressive. They've got the numbers, why not? Head to site, and they do just that. The plan's going to go down. Shed in a solo play, 1 versus 4. It's going to be a great start for Rifle. The attacking round win. You'll take that. And that's exactly what we want to see from them.
Yeah, pretty cut and dried there, Jake. Rival really strong on that roam clear. Really pretty easy to just overwhelm the side with the numbers advantage. Not much to say other than Rival know how to pick apart Clubhouse. They know how to hunt these roamers. And I think Elevate need to give them a little bit of respect. For example, Heikel there in bar using his impact grenade to go for a kill onto the player in pool. Rival are ready for that. Like, Jackie Wu is not a green player. He's been in the scene for a very long time. He's played at a major before, and I think that he's bringing that leadership into this roster. He's not scared that he's playing against a big name like Elevate.
Good opening round. I mean, sure, I think from Elevate's perspective, they don't play this necessarily wrong. You don't want to just bunker down on 5 on basement against a team like Rival. And in some ways, you kind of need to be that big dog. You kind of need to be a threat inside of the server, go for the roam game, try and find those contacts. But any contact found early on went the way of Rival. And you mentioned, of course, the experience of Jackie Wu. You know, we know Songler has that experience as well. So it's not like a super newbie team by any means. It's more so just the fact they've all kind of just come together as of recent. Great start, early attacking round. Probably settles the nerves if they had any as well coming into this stage for Pro League. For Elevate, though, it maybe does the opposite, right? This is a team with expectation. I said it for Fury. They needed to win their opening match against Iwolves. Not only did they do that, they did so in a resounding fashion. For Elevate, defense, club, against a new team, got to be finding a result here early on in the stage, otherwise not looking good.
100% agree. Well, Elevate are going to go back to the basement, but they will change things a little bit. They're not going to overcommit to the roam, which I think is a good idea. Instead, they're going to bunker down and look at the site, see at the best way that they can hold on to it. There's still a little bit of a roam, and it's once again upstairs in construction. And Heikel really feeling that pressure. He has been a solid fragger for Elevate in the past, but he's being hunted down and taken out quite quickly there. Great opener from Scarlet. And Rival, once again, looking to dominate this roam clear.
It reminds me a little bit of like 2022 APAC South, that run gun meta. You know, a lot of people internationally became aware of, you know, the fast-paced nature of APAC, especially South version. And Rival had just given me a hint of that. I think over the last 12 or so months, Dev, the idea that in Asia, they've started to want to play a little bit more of a style of Siege that would hold up better internationally. Maybe Rival just kind of come into this and like, let's just frag out. Let's just take it back a little bit and try and dominate the region to get ourselves really a foot in the door. They're going to bring that nice and early. It's Clubhouse. They know that Elevate aren't just going to sit 5 bodies on site. They want to be aggressive, play the roam game, and they look ready for it.
Yeah. Speaking of, Arpe has decided to be a little bit of a sneaky snake. He's hiding in the strip club hallway, biding his time, and now he can look for a flank. There is a barricade here, but a small crack might give him an opportunity to go for a kill. He takes down Jackie Wu, one of the big hitters from Rival, most experienced fella on the team. Does, of course, give away to Rival that there is a roamer still at large in strip. Now they have to make a choice. Do they go and hunt him, or do they leave him be and hold their flank? Both of which will take time and resources.
Yeah, it depends if they've got the flank back down to basement. If they've got main stairs covered, if they've got secret covered, then they know he can't get back down there. But yeah, I think Elevate, in a pretty decent position. Outline bug, by the way, you saw that with Azuki watching in towards bathroom. He does have main stairs covered. Wants to, of course, be mindful of the fact with the floorboards opened up, he could lose his life down below. But this is great if you're up, because you're just also delaying in terms of time. And if they do not clear you, you are a flank option later in the round.
He's also got the secondary shotty, so if it comes down to a really close range engagement around that bathroom doorway, he's going to be favored in that fight. So he's just going to sit there and waste the rest of the round. Really, the call here from Rival has to be to look at site and try and 5v, or rather 4v3 the site.
Trying to kill at the back of Arsenal, you get it down, you can push through dirt. Certainly now it's all about just go. 15 seconds left, hit the site as fast as possible. Yes, you've got though Ape from behind. No one is shocked by that. Jin making his way into site. There's no real time left, and they don't have kit dev. Oh no, they do. They picked it up.
They have to pick it up and get into position. There's a player down, another one down. Good coverage, but the plant has been denied. And that means Shed can clutch the round up big for Elevate. A little bit back and forth, but in the dire moments, all it takes is a denial of the plan, and Elevate can steal the round.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise. We kind of touched on it. Ape ended up being the deciding factor. As soon as he swings bathroom late when there's like 15, 20 seconds, it really throws a spanner in the works. And then not only that, it's not even getting that kill, but then he still also has vert control now from that position. He's also got main stairs. He can go into kitchen. He can do so much with so little time left. It kind of goes back to the question you posed. Do you deal with him or do you hit sight? And maybe in hindsight, it would have been better to just kind of try and deal with him. You knew that he couldn't really get back down to sight. You had main stairs covered. You had secret covered. Hatches were covered. You could have probably dealt with him. And there was still enough time if they made the decision quickly. And in the end, I think it cost them. But yeah, nicely done from Elevate. I think in the end, they had to be a little bit smarter in the way that they were going to be aggressive on that roam. They lost one early, but up in a good spot. Bathroom side gets them the round win.
Still, a lot of good stuff I'm seeing from Rival. I don't know, I'm not trying to like get too ahead of myself, but I'm just pleasantly surprised, really, that's it. Like, I'm not saying I have the highest expectations out of them, but it looks like Rival are playing really solid Siege so far. They were very close to winning that round. It came down to a clutch from Shed, 1v2. I don't know whether that's Rival looking really impressive, or perhaps Elevate not being quite as dominant or quite as strong as perhaps we would have hoped from a roster with so much hype behind them.
We didn't get your power rankings, James, but
yeah,
where do you think you would have put them?
I would probably agree with most people and say third. Like, obviously, there's a large part of me that wants
for
to put
Rival?
no
Oh,
cap.
Elevate. I'm talking about Rival.
Oh, sorry, Rival. Yeah, really, it's like 5th, 6th, I think.
Okay.
Sadly, I just can't really put too much faith in the two South Asian teams getting out of the bottom two, because even when they do make improvements, they tend to still fall short to teams like the past Daystar and Direwolves. I think that Rival will likely be kind of at a Direwolves sort of level, but it also depends on NoCap, right? I think NoCap do have obviously huge potential. We've seen what those players can achieve in the past. It really just depends on whether they're able to get back to their old form.
2 ex-members of Direwolves level. I like that. See what you're doing there, James.
It doesn't take rocket scientists, and we don't have any rocket scientists anymore. She moved on.
We don't. Tom all opened up. And Jim Bendrew here for the third round. Now 1-for-1. And it seems as if now the aggression of Rival at least was momentarily dealt with, but Songla finds an opening kill again. Pretty decent in that department so far. 90 seconds, not a lot of time, but off the back of that opening pick, they can start to make their way to sight a little bit more comfortably. But here's Ape again, so deciding factor. This time, though, in an unknown position, Oil Pit.
Yeah, I want to say, you're pointing out the aggression of Rival. I actually want to flip on its head and say it's really Elevate on defense that are playing quite aggressively. And for the most part, Rival are punishing it. Unfortunately, in this case, Jackie Wu didn't quite have the info, and he wasn't quite iced up enough to land that shot. So Ape does get it, takes a lot of damage for his troubles, and Elevate have equaled the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be 2 rounds in a row now. That Ape has kind of been the difference maker. 3-1, good scoreline, but it's also the impact of those kills, right? He's not just getting mindless kills in the middle portion of the round. Oh, hang on. Hello. This is just a push up top main. No one really watching that one. Azuki's going to be able to just slip in. They do lose Songla, though. It's and Haikal and MC. They were both able to get one each. And, of course, the roaming Ape able to then make his way back to site. Azuki with it all to do in a 1v3. Can't get it done. Nice little double kill from Haikal.
Yeah, and as much as Ape was pretty nice there with his flank kill in Garage, I actually want to say it's Haikal who essentially won that round. He was in an off position in Gym and found the first player when Rival looked for an execute, and then, of course, able to hold on to his position and clean up the final kill as well. So, yeah, pretty impressed by Elevate. Again, a round that could have gone either way, pending that execute, but Haikal won his position, and that really spelled death for Rival. It looks like we are going to a little rehost or a pause or something. Apparently someone's mouse has died. Love that.
The attacker's bomb diffuser has been...
I feel like I've seen this issue before. Surely, if you're a professional player, you've got to have spare mice around.
Yeah. I think so. Maybe he's got a cat as well and just like create some issues.
Yeah, look, an intriguing round. Again, I think that push in from Mizuki and the idea for Rival to just kind of try and hit sight, it's something they've been able to try and do quite a lot in this opening half. They don't need much success, though. You've already got one, arguably of 2 rounds required in a half of Clubhouse attack, and I think they're trying to just maybe push that limit. This should have been a kill for Jackie Wu. I thought maybe he had some kind of information, but it honestly doesn't look like it. I think he just got off of his drone, and it just was the timing aspect. And
that's
if
literally
he
like
wins that fight,
milliseconds of timing.
if he wins that fight, I still don't even think the round's won entirely because, like you said, Enhaikar was really the one on site that was able to lock it down. So, look, a good response from Elevate because the opening round looked really good from Rival and they really hit them hard and fast. And Elevate's kind of just been able to then, bunker down, win the next couple and put themselves in a good spot.
It does make me wonder what happens when we go back down to the basement eventually, though, which won't be this round because Elevate did win it in the second. But we are going to go to a really quick break while we sort out this broken mouse. Rival Esports and Elevate will continue just after this. for bearing with us, guys. Back into it, Rival and Elevate. 4th round in. It's been reasonably close so far, but that last round did not look great for Rival.
I feel like I just turned on Channel 7 News or something. That was just very formal of you. I feel like you just
Yeah, please address me as sir from now on.
No. All right, yeah, let's move on. 2-1 for Elevate. Good response after Rival really kind of just shot out of the blocks in that opening round, and we head over to Cash and CCTV. Certainly another opportunity. Although I feel like this maybe is not the kind of site that might fit their playstyle if they do want to kind of play that more fast approach. Cash, CCTV, you know, a bit more objective based. Try and clear out position. Can you get garage control? Can you get through con? Play the windows, deal with utility, open up the wall. All these kind of like little mini games. So it might be a good testing point here for Rival.
Yeah, a lot of people think that this bomb site kind of sucks if, as a defensive side, if the attack really knows what they're doing. So it's a good test for Rival, as you said. But it really depends. There's a lot of different ways you can go about it. There's no Bandit. We're not going to be juggling. No Maverick pick, so it's going to be all about this Thermite. The only dedicated hard breacher, we've got secondaries on the Capitao. Yeah, it comes down to how this is going to be tricked. And in fact, the Kaid will manage to juggle it. That's not easy to do, by the way. But Speakeasy has nailed the timing on that, which makes things very awkward for Rival now, as they're 1 exothermic down.
Yeah, and it means that, I mean, they probably felt like they could just go for a bit more direct. There's no shockwave battery juggling going on. As you said, you know, the Kaye Claw, a little bit more difficult to actually time that properly. And it can just send it a little bit more. And I think it's always going to be a case of probably a bit fortunate too if you Speakeasy. Here they go again with the exothermic. Has Speakeasy got this one? Well, I mean, the EMP secondary is going to certainly help out, and that's going to mean they do get the wall opened up. Minute 50, not too bad. Seen worse. Does put the perceived pressure now onto the site, and they can start to turn their attention elsewhere, and it's looking as if they will do just that. Gym bedroom side in towards Con, I imagine, next in line. I don't know where Zuki's going, but it could be a lobby pinch. If they've got information, they'll play on the roam, which is shared.
Yeah, look, I don't think that Rival had a lot of options here. They kind of have to go for this clear down below and try and execute in through the breach, because going from master side isn't going to be that impactful when you are lacking the ace, right? All we've got is one secondary hard breach from the Capitao, so they need to focus up on Garage, which they're looking to do right now, and they've got the util to execute it as well.
Oh, Incendiary here is good. Yeah, I mean, Songla able to lose his life, but Jackie should get the trade, and does. Well positioned in towards Garage. I think you'll always take that 1-for-1 because you get the position up towards Rafters dealt with. Yes, you do lose Songla for it, but that's his job anyway on the Capitao. Shed watching this angle in towards the entry point, but there's a bit of pressure from behind, and talk about the timing. You watch, you wait, you turn around, you're dead, and it happens so often in this game. 40 seconds left, and suddenly Rival with the numbers here, and they've got a good pinch in towards site.
Well, they're just going to have to reposition. Scarlet's on the diffuser, so he's going to go Garage so that he can cross in without exposing himself to top red. This is a very winnable position, but Speakeasy taking down Jackie Wu does open things up for Elevate. Good trade, though, from Azuki. And the plant is going down. Let's see
Nitro.
if Speakeasy can get to position. The Nitro from Arpe forces them towards Speakeasy, who farms them again. And Arpe closes the final kill onto Jin. Beautiful work from Elevator. 2 versus 4 they made look pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, you've put that perfectly, James. It's a Nitro cell that's gone towards default. It forces them off and into the sight lines. It's almost like a slam dunk, or in volleyball, you know, it's a what is it, a layup setup? I don't know, into a spike.
Yeah,
I do know that
like
one.
that.
So, I mean, that was really well played from Elevate on the defense. 3-1, considering they did lose Rafters. Middle portion of the round, and with Rafters being, you know, given over along with main breach opened up, there's that pinch potential on site. So I felt like Elevate kind of navigated a bit of a tricky kind of round. Certainly for Rival, that was a round that was winnable, and it should be. It's a tertiary site. It's Cash and CCTV for a reason, and we see here on the replay, it's just an easy one for Speakeasy as the push through. And he really has to hold one kind of line of sight as well. And yeah, 3-1, I should say, for Elevate, kind of navigating this half after Rival really shot out of the blocks. I think they're in a position now, though, where Elevate should feel pretty comfortable in cruise control. 2 rounds to go. They get to go back to basement. They're starting to get the idea. Rival like to play hard and fast. They like to move around the map. I think Elevate have just been able to find that next level, which is really good to see for a team that, again, I really want to see by the end of the stage challenging the top 2 teams.
5 seconds to go.
Look, Jake, it's good to know that if we ever move on from Rainbow Six commentary, you've got a gig in volleyball commentating, and maybe I can go work for 9 News.
We can just, why don't we just do the next Olympics?
I like the sound of that, though I don't know if they lay up in in volleyball. I think that's the wrong sport, buddy.
Can't say I'm an avid volleyball fan.
We need to go to the beach someday and get around the volleyball together. But for now,
No one
let's
needs to
focus
see me
on-
at the beach, mate. Don't worry about that.
All right. Rival are going to attack the basement, and look, there's 2 more rounds left in the half, 2 more chances for Rival to show what they can do on the attack, and it was the first round where they attacked this bomb site that actually looked really good. So I'm keen to see this again. How will they go on the roam clear?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they looked really good as well because Elevate kind of played into their hands, played that heavy roam game. They were able to get a good couple of kills early on, so at the end of the day, we could have easily flipped that round. Elevate hit a couple of shots, win their ones, and we could have been speaking very differently, really, about this game. At the end of the day, though, for Rival, they only need a second round. I think that's the easiest way to kind of put this. So 2 rounds to go, 2 chances here to find 1. Basement. Yes, they've already won it, but it should be relatively difficult. And I imagine Elevate will be a little bit more on their toes here, expecting more of that fast pace. Love the angle here for MC. You can make a bit of contact, then fall back down relatively safely. 90 seconds left. That pace still second floor, so they haven't even dealt with the roam game, let alone really drawing their attention towards site. Ape, I don't know what he was doing there, holding the right side of the doorway with pressure coming on the left side. Con, Scarlet gets a free kill. They deal with the roamer. Decent, but there's still the time factor, and you've still got NI Cal making his way in from logistics, and he's going to get a freebie.
Well, that's the thing, and Hykel, he's been on fire this game, is continuing to make this roam work for Elevate. Rival have a decent chance of cutting him off. He's now dropped down below, and I expect he will just hold on to this position in strip and force Rival to go and clear him, or ignore him and push towards site. Either way, Rival are the ones that have to make a call how they're going to push this, and it looks like they're going to try and ignore and focus up on site. As I say that, it's really not what everyone is planning on doing, because then Hycal has found another kill. He does get traded, but this is far too little, far too late. And I think Rival might have fumbled this chance.
Oh, it's not over just yet. 2v3, 35 seconds, retrieve kit, hit site. Maybe you can get a lucky headshot on the move, but it kind of reminds me of the earlier round in the half, second round, where they had to decide about Ape. Do you push him, do you clear him, or do you hit site? And again, they've kind of fumbled that bag in terms of the decision-making regarding that factor. 20 seconds, drop's going to come. 2v3, they actually have been able to get numbers back up for Elevate, so this is going to be very difficult for Songla and Azuki.
Good position from Shed, though, and the TCSG is just too strong. All up to Songla, though. Doesn't have a single kill so far since Sorihos, and he's got to find 3. There's the first one. No point in confirming it for now. He doesn't have the diffuser, and yeah, there you go. Good round. Elevate, locked in here on defense.
It's been 1 round since the rehost. So to give a little asterisk, so it's not as if he's like dropping a donut over 8 rounds or something. But I mean, I will say, I think as the game has progressed, James, we're starting to see Rival really just wane a little bit. It's almost like they were so pumped and ready to go. First round was great, and it's really just been this slight downward slope ever since. You can clearly see the difference in the tendencies for these 2 teams and the decision making. Questionable at times for Rival. I think they've certainly got the mechanics. They've got the ability to hit some shots, frag out. We saw that in the opening round. But again, it was that decision. Do you go for an N-High-Cal? You know where he is, over towards that strip side. Do you kind of clear him out, bring numbers over there? There's just enough time if you decide quick enough. And that's probably another factor. I just feel like the time management for Rival hasn't quite been there in these latter rounds of the opening half. 4-1 though, and still even, because you got that opening round, you just need that one more. We head back upstairs, top floor, gym bedroom. You win this, and it's not even a bad half. So still a lot to gain for Rival in this round.
2-4 is very winnable in the second half, but yeah, I'm not impressed, sadly. I did get a little bit excited seeing how good Rival were at roam clearing on that first round, but I think Elevate's read them pretty well. And I do think they need to win this next round to Rival, otherwise I just don't see them managing to push overtime. I think 2 rounds should be enough on attack, but 1, I just don't think so. So it does put a lot of pressure here, and Gym Bedroom is Now, arguably the strongest site on this map at the moment, depending on how good teams are at attacking that Church Arsenal bomb site. And we have seen Elevate already look really solid on here. Even in our first game today, right, the final round was on this bomb site. We had an absolute farming moment from Critche. Yeah, Arrival really need to get on their bike and start bringing up the pace, bring up the momentum. They've got a good read here, and perfect. Ape baited into a jump out. Songlar does find the opening pick. Now it's time for Rival to convert.
Even Ape's like, what? Yeah, fair enough, Ape. Yeah, and look, can they convert though? That's going to be the question. It's not as if over the last couple of rounds they've always been, you know, at this deficit or facing adversity. They've had moments. Cash CCTV, they were up 3-2 in the round. They couldn't quite get the job done. It's still a site that is going to be locked down. Can you deal with this mirror window in bathroom? And ICAL's being typically quite good. Well, the breaching round, that will do it. And ICAL actually holds this close left angle, and I like this in terms of the aggression. They may just get that sense of security that this could be safe to push. He could still find one fall back. 90 seconds, entry in towards Kitchen coming now from Mizuki. Big chance here for Rival.
Loading full magazine.
And Hakal's always really solid on site though. What is this? There's an early swing from Speakeasy. And it does find the down. Now it's going to be up to Rival to pick him back up and worry about the counter aggression. He will be able to do that. But yeah, I'm not only worried about Speakeasy, but also Enhaikal, who's been really good at anchoring on this site. Speakeasy just knows that there's nobody on his balcony, so he can freely swing inside of Master. He hears the Flores drone come out. He's going to get droned in a second. I don't think the Rotero won't actually achieve anything other than getting information, but Elevate just have such strong positions, and Rival haven't really figured out how to clear this yet.
Cannot let the time become a factor though. Mizuki up main. Someone's going to make that first move though for Rival. Entry point super crucial.
Nice.
Nitro Assault from Speakeasy. It's great. Hits one. Surely there's going to be a swing coming. Yellow ping information. It's a double. You know there's another one out in the balcony as well. So much info. Finally, Azuki a little bit late up main, but he does get a kill. 3 versus 3. 25 seconds. Rival must win this round.
They might be able to do it. This push-in from the main stairs has worked wonders for them, but okay, MC's gone down. Azuki's turned it up. All up to Speakeasy. He's going to need to ace this one. He does get another down. He doesn't have a rotation into Logistic, though, as it has been reinforced over, so it's a 1v2, no C4. Reloading the Vector. Needs to find 2 kills. This has confirmed the down player. He's almost got the angle onto the guy who planted the defuse, and he might be able to secure it. He isolates these ones. This is very achievable. But he's such low HP, and it looks like Rival are playing this to perfection. Azuki and Scarlet know that they do not have to peek. In the end, it is Speakeasy who has to make the first move, and Azuki will shut him down. Rival indeed get the 2 rounds they were looking for.
Yeah, I felt like in that round, Azuki actually was going to be the big factor. And in the end, he was, but he kind of delayed that push up main stairs. We got to see him kind of creeping up. He was in a great position. His position wasn't known. But he just took a little bit of time, and that allowed Speakeasy to get a great Nitro Cell outside onto the exterior balcony, and then also get a free swing into con with the yellow ping information. And I felt like at that point, they'd maybe let the round go by them, James, and that they had pretty much forfeited because of maybe the pacing just got the better of them. You know, Elevate even had information on one of the players still outside of gym window, so they actually really should have won that round. But a great push up from Azuki up main, gets a couple of kills. When the time did come for him, he did not let his teammates down. He goes to 5 kills since the rehost. They get a second round, and suddenly they get to go on defense. And in the end, that's a par half. You got 2 attacking rounds in Clubhouse against a team of Elevate's caliber. That's a pretty decent start for Rival this stage. Now it all comes down to how they can play on the defense.
A solid chance for Rival to really give Elevate a run for their money here. But if anything, this second half, Jake, for me, is exciting to see where Elevate are at. Because this is the team that has a lot of hype behind them. We have international imports on this roster from Tier 2 of Europe, Shed and MC, and up-and-comers like Enhaikal. Like, there's a lot of hype behind this team, and they certainly expect themselves to be gunning for a spot in Montreal. We didn't see that in Stage 1, not really. They were behind not only Bleed, but also Fury. And you know, in some moments, even teams like NoCap held a candle to Elevate. So if they can polish up some attacks, we can see what their quality is like on this half. Maybe it's a good sign. A very early pick from Shed, though. And onto the Mute, no less. A very powerful operator to take out very early on. No C4 going to come into play in the late round. And now Rival look to try and get aggressive to win back this advantage.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can't just when you've still got players second floor, you've got to try and now get a kill back. Even it up 4v4, then eventually make your way back down. So you kind of have to double down now of your rival. Elevate should be aware of that. The way that rival were playing in the first half, you should know, okay, they're on the roam, they're moving around, there's probably a couple more, and they're going to want to find a kill. You don't lose a player and then go back to basement. If you lose one, you kind of have to try and double down. Mizuki has been droned down. Jackie Wu still over towards red as well. So they are spread around the map, which does mean trade potential isn't very high for rival. You're going to have to win your ones and then have your rotation part set. Speakeasy knows they want to go come back down in through secret. One does make the cross. It's a tight angle. It's a tight squeeze. Why are you peeking that back though? Jackie Wu, if he's shooting there, he's already watching it. You just give him a free head. 2-player advantage now for Elevate.
Very aggressive there from Jackie Wu. A very big mistake that may well cost the team around. Now another player looking to pick the same angle.
To take.
I mean, at the end there, Songlao was trapped. He really didn't have many options, but yeah, Speakeasy knows how to maintain composure, hold this position. Nice pick though. MC going down. Scarlet hoping for a wallbang fade away. He does get back to site. 2v4 is not a great look for rival in the opening defense.
Oh man, it really is the embodiment of like APAC 2022, James. Like we're just seeing this over aggression that's probably not necessary, that a lot of other regions would be like kind of questioning why you're doing that, like why, like you don't need to play that way. At the end of the day, yes, you want to get a kill back. It's a 4v5. Round's over, by the way, but even if you have to, and he made the cross, he was able to get back down through secret. He had the shots. Like, I mean, at this point, yeah, sure, go for it if you're Scarlet. Why not? And he still loses it anyway. Mike, he has, the man has like legitimately just put a tent out there, pitched it up, and said, "I'm just going to sit here and wait, and they're all going to come to me." Apparently, Speakeasy's just laughing because he's just like, "What are these guys doing?" Look. In that situation for rival, you almost just have to forfeit and say there's like, what, minute and a half left, maybe just under, 4v5, it is what it is. Let's get back down to a basement, play positions, play the angles, force them to come to us, force them to have to get the plan, all of these things. Instead, you're just feeding picks because you're going hunting and hunting at a point where you don't need to. And he's outside. Like, this is a tough angle. You can't trade off each other. You're not doing it. It's just ones. It's just one. It's just one. If you're going to do it, at least swing together as like 2-3 players and do something, you know, as a team. But yeah, that's a shocking round from rival.
This is Speakeasy's third 3K this game as well. So the Speakeasy of old. Once upon a time, everyone looked at him and said, best player in APAC. And he's been through a hell of a lot of rosters through them. Yeah, that was a very strange play from Jin. Just a lack of information, lack of awareness from rival, Elevate sneaking into early positions, and then just way over peaking, as you said. There's no way Speakeasy should be getting 3 kills from outside lobby on a basement defense. Maybe if that was a cache CCTV defense, I could imagine trying to contest for that position or trying to hold players in lounge or nearabouts, but on a basement, that's very questionable.
Objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
That's like a gun mute jammer. I don't know, when you put mute jammers down, they just start shooting. It definitely feels like Elevate have got the experience shining through in this match. I think we're seeing far higher quality in their tendencies, the way they're playing, clearly in their understanding, the way that they are kind of dictating that tempo. They're the ones that are in control, seemingly. Rival just kind of look almost a little bit out of control inside of the server. They're going to find a way to maybe just kind of contain their aggression and rather than, you know, having it be chaotic, see if you can have that controlled chaos. That could be the way that you have a pretty decent stage here. But right now, Elevate just, they look switched on and it's like, okay, they're going to play like this. We know how to play against it. And that's the way I kind of read the game right now.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of aggression, but it has to be intentional, and it has to be well thought out. It's a nice little attempt to counter the bandit juggle, but I think Jin is going to win this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really nice done.
Yeah, very well done from Jin, but also questionable from Elevate. Like, there's a lot of better ways.
Well, they got nothing left. That's the wall. It's done.
Yeah, I mean, that could be GR, to be honest. That could be the round done, thanks to Jin.
I've seen enough rounds that are in APAC where they lose these, even with the Jacuzzi wall still up.
Well, Speakeasy's dead. A top fragger in the server. Surely now it's done.
Well, never say never, James. I saw a man win a 2v5 with a shotgun not just an hour ago. So,
Yeah, they're just swinging. Why are you peeking that? Like, yeah, okay, Scarlet did find a pick, and a 1-for-1 trade is fine right now for Rifle, but I don't really know why they're peeking that. Eventually, we do see a breach here on Jacuzzi, which is nice. I didn't realize Up 8 still has a Selma left, but
Yeah, wait, what? That must be like
a elevate.
That has to be a HUD visual, visual bug on the HUD because it said he had nothing left.
Oh well. Can't deny what I can see with my eyes right now. Flashbangs are a really nice way to enable this entry, but a good boost from Jackie Wu puts him in an awkward position. Shed now in a 1 versus 2, but he finds the first one. This is so winnable. Jin, do you go for the swing?
Oh my God.
Jin! You can't lose those! You simply can't afford to lose those!
Didn't you say, like, good round twice?
Yeah, I mean, that should have been good round. It should have been good round 3 times. There's no way Shed should be winning that. I mean, Jin literally swung him and whiffed. Like, our observer changed onto Jin's POV because there's no way that he shouldn't win that fight. And he still fumbles it. That is rough, man.
Yeah.
That is rough.
I mean, absolutely at the end, but it's also, you pointed it out earlier in that round, why are you guys swinging? Like, why? Like, the way in which Rival were playing that, yeah, certainly wasn't the right way. Which, by the way, our wonderful, apparently most colorful analyst that we've got in Manic Monday pointed out the fact that there was one Selma left because he grabbed it off the wall after it was jammed. So in the split second that when I said that they got nothing left, it's because they did technically. It was still on the wall. He grabbed it back and he was able to then, yeah, open back up. But I don't think...
Well, technically, Robert Manic Monday.
Yeah, well, look... It happens from time to time, but like again, like that is the best example right there in the replay ops. Is like, why are you swinging CC window in an advantaged round where there's not much time? The other team hasn't. I don't think at that point opened up Jacuzzi, right? So you're giving them opportunities. Yes, like it's that risk versus reward factor, right? Where it's like, well, if you kill the player outside gym bedroom, then sure, that probably really makes it a good round. That probably seals the round. But you're also giving them an opportunity where if they kill you back the other way, the round just opens back up. So you don't need to be that aggressive. It's probably a good summarization of this match for Rival from their perspective, that the over-aggressive tendencies has probably cost them a couple of moments in these rounds.
Yeah. And yet, when it really called on Jin to be aggressive, refragging his teammate, he swung too late, and he didn't commit to the swing well enough, and he didn't land the shots he needed to. So a lot of question marks here for Rival. Quite disappointing because I did see some moments of greatness. Like that first round, I thought they had a really solid roam clear. And we've seen some tight rounds aside from that. But fumbles like that will certainly stay in my mind. Even Azuki there, he faked out by that drone. He's going to fall back. I do want to see Rival had some intentional aggression, but also know when to call it. And I'm seeing Azuki fall back. That is good intentional fall back. Like, he's got the call, he's got the info, he knows that it's too risky to stay his position, so he can fall back to the side. I think that is at least some semblance of a good sign.
Ready to breach.
I mean, that's at least perfect, though. This round, you get the opening kill, 5 in base, but this is the more ideal way in which you want to kind of play this. Yeah, you're just going to be careful of the floorboards as they get opened up from Elevate. I think Elevate themselves certainly aren't going to look at this round and feel like it's going to be a tall order. They know that they can probably hit a good couple of shots. Another trick here from Songla, looking to stop the moto hatch from being opened up, and beautifully indeed. It's probably been one element they've actually been surprisingly really good at in terms of this wall denial. It's been somewhat of an element on the defense that we didn't quite see from Elevate themselves. Secondary hard breach though is going to open up moto. Still lots of time. I mean, considering Elevate lost a player, they are getting through this checklist in a pretty hastily fashion.
All we have left, though, in terms of hard breach is one ace Selma remaining on N Highcal. You can't really use that here on the triple wall of Church because of the Electric Claw moving on over to it. But I believe that Elevate do have all the hatches they want open. Now, here come the Bees. Perhaps there is an opportunity to go for an execute here onto Blue, especially with the pick on the player in Church. Yeah, very unnecessary. 45 seconds to play. Man advantage has been given up now by Rival.
Right, that's like twice now, like 2 rounds in a row. Scarlet is peeking unnecessarily. There's not much time left. Jim with a big kill. They're getting some blue control and good shots finally for Rival. I think at that point, that almost looked like a more coordinated effort where the entire team was just said, let's start swinging. Elevate's close by. They're in critical positions. Now we can go for these peaks, but you don't need to go for that peek down the hallway for Scarlet. Fortunately, they win all of the other fights, though, because that felt more coordinated. That wasn't a solo swing. That felt like a team effort from Rival.
Yeah, exactly right. It really just came down to good crossfires being held on blue, and sometimes rounds do just come down to fundamentals. The fact that the player who was on the generator in blue, the one that we were spectating, I can't remember which Elevate player, we were spectating an Elevate player who was trying to get the kill on the guy behind generator, and instead of in that gunfight, the generator player swinging wide and allowing that to be a 1v1 that he could potentially lose, he hugged the generator, which forced a wide swing from the Elevate player, and then eventually they died. This is exactly the moment I'm talking about. See, he swung wide, and it meant that he had to expose to AKs and ended up losing his life to that crossfire. So I actually quite like Rival maintaining composure in those late round situations, with the exception of the overpeak from Church. I don't know what was going on there. But when it came down to the blue fight, the reason they won that was because they maintained their crossfires. And yeah, Elevate needed a little bit more to kind of gas through that. And yeah, credit to Rival, it was okay that round. But of course, they're still trailing by 3, and it's a long way to push overtime.
Yeah, they're on defense clubhouse, though, so certainly doable. They get to go upstairs now and give Jim Bedroom another crack, which, I mean, they should have really won it last time out, so I think they'll be a bit disappointed. And I think if you elevate now as well, you're going to put more stock into opening up Jacuzzi. And, you know, I mean, to be fair, they didn't actually do a whole lot wrong, right? When you go for that double high breach side, the idea of throwing some on one side, exothermic on the other, is to make it very difficult for the Bandit to actually get, you know, essentially both. You usually can get one of those to go through, either the Salma or the exothermic. The fact that he gets both, that doesn't always happen. So, I mean, Elevate didn't do a whole lot wrong. I think they'll just be a bit more thorough this time around. 10th round, 6-3. Good response from Rival. More of that team aspect, please. More trading each other. More getting in positions to at least get good, you know, line of sight to be able to get a trade, not just playing by yourself, not just swinging solo if you're Scarlet. Please just understand there is 4 other teammates that you can play off of this game. You don't have to do it yourself.
And if Rival do feed, just, I don't know, just disappoints me every single time I see it. But one thing that we've seen continually be really impressive from Rival, you called it out, like the tricking, the Kaid, the Bandit. And this bomb site was actually a feature of that. Previously, we saw a good double Bandit juggle, and now Jin is back in position to do it. However, I think Elevate going to be a little bit more ready this time. They fell to this previously. I don't think they'll make the same mistake twice. My question is, what are they actually going to do to counter it? So the only thing that they've really changed is they put the exothermic down before the ace.
He got him. He did it again.
But of course, it's still possible to do both. So
he did it again. Yeah. They threw
comes out in
EMP and they did both sides of the wall, and he still got it. That is an incredible job done from Jin. That is not easy, James.
It's not easy, yeah, but like Elevate barely changed anything. Like, why can you expect it to change?
Did
why
they
you expect a different result if you did this? Yeah, they did.
They did.
They did the exact same thing. The only difference is that they put the thermite charge down before the ace instead of the other way around.
That is the point that I was making though at the start of this round. That, to be fair to Elevate, they didn't do much wrong. That is a conventional way to try and brute force that open. But Jin has just outplayed them with superior juggling skills. Yeah. There's under a minute left and they don't have Jacuzzi. And a peek from Songla finds success. Big kill onto Uppay, and suddenly, this is where now, again, love the fallback as well. Songla doesn't overinvest in that position. Con single wall, head pops out. You can get yourself out of that corner. Good positioning here from Songla.
What are you doing?
From his POV.
Shed!
What is Shed doing? Where's he going?
Okay, finally a trade comes through, but yeah, Shed looking a little bit lost, not knowing there's a player where his teammate has already seen 2 players from Elevator try and pick up the pieces. MC does a bit of damage, but no kill confirmed as of yet. 20 seconds. It's up to Rival to hold firm. Potential for a clutch up here from 2 star fraggers. And Highcal, historically a phenomenal player, but he's been quiet in the second half. Is there the chance that Azuki can hold firm? MC does eventually trade him back, but a 1v2 with no diffuser in hand. The first one he finds. With a second, there is no time to search for. Rival barely clinch away that round and keep this game alive.
Yeah, I mean, look, they did a lot right in that round, but how much of it comes down to Jin being able to get that trick? That's such a huge boon for them, for their team. Elevate, again, you saw that in chat, they actually, you know, typing like lol and cooked and all of this kind of stuff. And I think that's almost like paying respect what Jin was able to do there and denying that, because again, EMP, Selma, exothermic, all at once, all at the same time. And yet the man has been able to get both sides of the wall, keep Jacuzzi under lock and key. And that is not even the first time. So I don't even at this point think it's a fluke. The man's a genius. 4-6. But also, again, it was like, I think there was only one peak. I mean, I don't know what Shed's doing there. That is an absolute bizarre. Man goes walking in con after already shots that we saw from Songla in towards that direction, the con single wall. That was a bit lucky for Azuki because he did kind of panic shoot when he saw the barrel. Very easy to do so because he thinks it's getting looked at, but they didn't check it properly. He was able to get one. I think it was Songler as well at the start who did go for a bit of a solo peek, but this time he hit it. He got the kill into up peek, he fell back. So understanding that they weren't, rather than doubling down, getting that kill and going for more, he at least did bring it back then to sight. So they played that a lot better for Rival, and it felt a bit more controlled.
Yeah, not terrible from Rival. And I really do want to join you in singing Jin's praises. That was a good juggle, but also at this level, you have to expect that your opponent can juggle to that level. Like that wasn't like a strategy or a banner juggle job that I've never seen before. Good players, like really strong players, should be able to do that every single time. It's actually on the attackers to make sure that's not possible by putting some other form of pressure on. Now, that could be a nade through the drone hole. It could be having a player on the gym window and shooting towards it. It could be an array of different things. And the bottom line is to Elevate, despite having international players that should know how to do this and should have respect for strategies like that, they just didn't bring those tactics to the table. And that is, to me, disappointing. They've made the same mistake twice. They're underestimating Rival, and they did pay for it.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you're not wrong, absolutely. But I think typically it's easy to just kind of look towards the negative aspect and say, well, Elevate should have been able to get that open. Jin's done his job. He's done it very, very well. I can't juggle like that, James, so it is a skill. Absolutely.
Yeah, it definitely is a skill. Yeah, now Elevate have 2 more chances to lock this out before we hit OT. And to be frank, like this bomb site is probably the weakest one on the map. So I would not be surprised if this one is a much harder task for Rival. They do have some pretty decent positions, like the Azami pick. However, the Grim does expose poor Jin here. He has support, though, from Songla as well. And the Azami is the perfect operator to be holding this position.
How are you going to play for beast, though?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like, it's nice to have the information, but you need to follow that up with some kind of explosive or players moving in. And because these Rival players have a crossfire, it's very hard to do that.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have a lot. I mean, like, in terms of utility, if you usually have, say, like a Capitao, for example, you can maybe do something. Hello? What? How, firstly, did Enhykel survive that on 4 HP? And Scarlet is probably wondering that question as well. Shed then loses his life. Songler decided to just push down rafters and I guess go for a peek. Again, that's just probably the Rival motto at the moment. Just go for a peek. And eventually does lose his life. So that's one gone from rafters outside on the main breach through Jin still. And they know he's in this position because of the bees earlier. So Elevate in a really good position to take this round now. 35 seconds left for Rival. This actually may be the time to try and get a bit aggressive. But you still got a good spot. Jackie Wu, top red, hasn't been cleared. And he's got a good look in towards Con through Cash.
Not well supported on the breach side. Now a player has dropped outside the breach. And Jin can't be affording to lose that fight. Good flashbang as well, and a good push up from Speakeasy. This is where the collapse comes through. And in the blink of an eye, Elevate closed the game. Took them a little bit longer than we thought, but a 7-4 is a solid scoreline for one of the top teams in Asia.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, I think when it comes to that particular game, I'm pretty content. Elevate got tested a little bit. Rifle certainly were no slouch, no pushover. They didn't put in a Direwolf-like performance that we saw in the opening game. There were good positives to take from it as well, certainly on both defense and on their attack. They got 2 attacking rounds. Their defense certainly had some good elements to it, but yeah, too many holes in it. They like to swing far too much swinging. And in the end, Elevate certainly looked like they worked their way through that game. We'll get Eggman back in to the desk, which I honestly feel like I'm just joined by Devin Penku, because it's like there's no difference. Once you go bold, you know what they say, Rob? Once you go bold. I don't know where he's gone.
You bullied him off the screen. Come back, Rob. Come on. We need you.
I may be bald, but I don't have a good enough comeback to say anything, so I'm just going to move on with this one. That's look, I'm actually, although we're pleasantly surprised for Elevate, I think we've seen enough from Rivals there, Dev, to start to have a good indication as to what to expect from this roster. I said going into it, the one quote we kind of really had a firm idea is that it is a bunch of young gunners that have just turned 18, and I think that that well and truly showed with how many times I saw a defensive-sided player peak.
Yeah. Yeah, you are right. Maybe they overpeaked a little bit. Sometimes it worked for them, sometimes it didn't. That's the nature of playing quite aggressively. But on their attack, we did see some nice things as well. I think they were pretty organized in their roam clears. Of course, they fumbled quite a few moments where they fed players individual positions, and you can see that with the number of 3Ks that Elevate got. I'm looking back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3K opportunities from Elevate. Yeah, 5 3Ks from individual players on Elevate. Mostly it was Speakeasy, but also Shed got a big 1v3. So great stuff from Elevate's rival. I do think that there's a solid chance for them. I want to see them play against teams like Direwolves and NoCap, because I think they'll have a serious shot in those games.
Yeah, that opens up the discussion a lot more, especially when we get probably toward the mid stage. Once you get the nerves out of the way, I'm sure there's an element to Rivals coming into this Xenox. You're going up against really the third biggest team in the league, and not only that, but Elevate well and truly have something to prove. Every time we heard from them from the interview way back in stage 1, they were always saying, this is what we're expecting to be performing. We're expecting to make playoffs, and we should be in the finals. And I think that they're well and truly on their way again already in stage 2. Let's get Speakeasy in, because I know that we've got him courtside. If you will. How are you, my friend? I've got to admit, I haven't seen you for a hot minute, but that is a way to kickstart stage 2.
Good. I'm doing good. Good to see you guys again. And yeah, I think
always
a very good win. Even though we look like T3 players on the breach because of this guy, am I right? Yeah, I think it's all good. Oh no, stay away. Stay away.
It's all right. He can't do anything anyway, apparently.
I was gonna go in with a big hitting question, but actually you've brought up the bandit juggle. What's going on there, mate? Please talk us through it, because it happened twice.
Well, I'll be honest. We weren't supposed to play this map. We don't even scream on this map. Like I would say like 2 or 3 times we scream, and as you can see, like the lack of timings, I guess, really cost us there. So yeah, we kind of like played ourselves going into this map when we don't, practice for it. But yeah. I mean, we did turn out to win in the end, so I think that's fine.
It probably leads into maybe almost answering my question here, which was I felt like at the start of the game, it felt like maybe Rival were, playing a super aggressive play style. They got off to a good start, and that it felt like throughout the game, you guys were just kind of slowly adjusting, and eventually getting control. Did it kind of feel that way for yourself and the team?
Yeah, I mean, going into this game, we know that Rival is going to be an aggressive team because they are the first time they are in the stage, right? So we kind of prep ourselves that they're going to be aggressive, which shows on the first defense. Like I just stayed outside main door and I got 3K. So yeah, so I think slowly after that we kind of we are like, guys, if you don't do anything, they will just come to us. And although some like bandit tricks happens here and there, there's always an opportunity to find kills. Like it's either they bring it to us, or like we find the gap to seek. So yeah.
So it's been 4 months since we last saw you, Speakeasy, and the last time we spoke to you and got an idea on the team. What has the break looked like for you guys? It has been quite a significant period. Obviously, EWC's just passed. How do you feel like you've made your changes and started to, I guess, hone in for stage 2?
I think the break really did us a good favor because we really focus on roles and every individual aspect of our roles. I think we trying to find the best perfect fit, and I think stage 2 going forward, this dynamic we have in the team is going to be working for us. So yeah.
Couldn't be happier to hear that, mate. As per usual, do you have anything you'd like to say before we let you go?
Say it's good to be back, guys, for stage 2. Thanks for the fans, and yeah, thank you. And also hello, Mom, from Singapore. Hello.
Speakeasy, thank you very much for joining us, my friend. Say hello to everyone in the room for us, and I'm sure we'll be speaking to you in no time.
And see you. Catch you guys.
Ciao. a team coming together, and it's a scary prospect as well when you think about your Furies, your Bleeds, and how close they've been. Xenox, if they're able to close that gap and make this a 3-team league and change the discussion entirely, I mean, the outlook, the perspective that we have as a competitive region again starts to shift.
Yeah, I agree. They've certainly got a bit of work to do. I mean, James is right to point out, and even Speakeasy pointing out, the basics of being able to even open up Jacuzzi World, for example. I don't think you would get that from a Bleed or a Fury. I think there's certainly still elements in the match that we just saw where it was a little bit like, like a bit rough around the edges. I mean, admittedly from Speakeasy, though, this is a map apparently they don't play, which is fine, even if Clubhouse is, what I would feel like a bit of a stock standard kind of map. Not every team is necessarily going to want to play it. And the fact that they even got some practice in on it and some reps in it is actually really good for their map pool. So if they've got other maps that they're more proficient on, well, that's good for Elevate. The real test is, of course, going to be in their matches against the likes of Fury and Bleed.
Yeah, they certainly are. And there's a big test coming up next. It's Hasib Warriors, and they're going to be taking on No Cap. What have they got in the bank? We'll have to wait and see.